I noticed that many of you are wearing green today. I'm not wearing green. That does not mean that you can pinch me. It's letting you know I know Kung Fu if you try. Patrick of Ireland in the 4th century was enslaved as a little boy. He grew up in the Roman Britain and he was enslaved and sent to Ireland to work there. He was there for 6 years, and in that 6 years of enslavement, he grew close to God. He prayed, and guided by miracles and visions, he was able to escape and go back to his home of Britain. It was shortly after he came home from Britain, he received this vision in a dream of this man bringing a bundle of letters, and one of them was labeled "The Voice of the Irish." And in this dream, he began to read this letter, and he heard this voice: "We beg you, holy youth, to come and walk among us once more." And he knew at that moment that he was called to give his life for the conversion of a pagan nation or a pagan people. And so he spent 21 years preparing to go back and to be a missionary to the very place in which he was enslaved. He was sent over as a bishop, and as a bishop, he worked one town by one town and eventually converted the whole country. And in fact, Ireland became one of the most Catholic countries in all of Christendom, or all of Catholic history. A couple years ago, when we were unveiling our new branding for our parish, we described the new logo that we have, which is a flame. And there are two major points that I talked about with regard to that logo. First was the flame itself. The flame is from the story, this legend of St. Patrick. And there was this Celtic spring festival, Beltane. The legend has it that in this festival, all the fires of Ireland were to be put out, except the High King's fire. But that day happened to be the day of the Easter Vigil. And so St. Patrick, in defiance of the High King's order, lit the Easter Vigil fire on a nearby hill so that everyone could see. And so this fire represents the light of Christ, the truth of the gospel in the midst of a pagan nation that Patrick refused to put under a bushel basket. Patrick was adamant that the truth of the gospel be preached. And so we see also a part of this flame too. If you look at our logo, you see it out on the sign of and the entrances and on our bulletin and all the different things that we have. This is actually a unique flame made just for our parish. It's actually two little flames in one. The larger flame represents the work of the Holy Spirit, right? The strength of God. And the smaller flame represents us, who surrender to the Holy Spirit. Together we become the light of Christ to what's increasingly becoming a more pagan nation. You see, the powerful thing is that Patrick knew who he was. He knew what his mission was, and he never gave up. He didn't give in. My hope and my prayer is that we, as St. Patrick Parish, or St. Patrick Catholic Parish, that we know who we are. We know our mission to be light to this region, that partnering with the Holy Spirit, we can become the light of Christ, often in the place where we were once enslaved, so that we can truly give witness to Jesus. The truth is that there are many people, just like in the time of Patrick in Ireland, there are many people who do not want the gospel. They do not want Christianity. But we need to remember who we are. Jesus did not set us free for us to put our bushel basket over our heads. He didn't set us free so that we wouldn't cooperate with the Holy Spirit and to witness to him. He set us free so that we too can become missionaries in this very place. And being missionaries, we will have an impact. The question really becomes every single time that we celebrate this feast, do we want to be like St. Patrick and take a risk, and as we hear in the gospel, to lay down our lives for those who do not know him? Or do we want to withdraw into the place where we are comforted, in the place where we're not going to be challenged? I thank God that Patrick said yes to go to Ireland. I don't think many of us would have faith if it wasn't. If we did not have the courage, We need to have courage. With the Holy Spirit, Jesus is with us, and our light is strong. It's a lot stronger than any darkness that's coming upon us.